Living and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Vargas lifts this pretty deep. It's got some carry to it to left field for Ward. Back to the wall, and it's gone. He's done it again. Ildemaro Vargas makes it 3-2 Diamondbacks.
It never happened.
The wind is
before.
blowing
Trevor
out
Rogers
that
had
way
never
at
given up a home run as an Oriole at Camden Yards. Except Trevor Rogers.
Oh,
That's what I meant.
is that what you said?
That's what I said.
Okay, I couldn't hear because my headset's not working.
I'm sure your headset's working. I have no doubt
now
that
it
it's
is.
working.
But you guys didn't have the volume up right.
There
Sorry,
we go.
I'll have it at your level next time.
He'll break the entire studio.
You can't
in the
get to my
process.
level, kid.
I'm so glad he's back. Boy, did we miss him. That was courtesy of Diamondbacks TV. The Orioles lose 4-3 to the Diamondbacks. A little bit about Trevor Rogers' fifth inning. A lot about the number of times that they were able to push one run across in bases-loaded situations, but no more than that.
Well, I'm happy.
Twice.
I had the under.
Yeah?
So I don't care.
Good news for you. You come to your house and chew gum.
I'm still aggravated about Monday night. Open that window up for me.
What happened on Monday night?
Oh, you know what happened on Monday night, you creep.
What happened on Monday night? Oh, the Flyers. Yeah. Tough times. Tough times.
What are you laughing about?
Yeah, what are you laughing about?
I don't care.
Scumbag.
None of it means anything to me. You think this is it?
I can't think of anything worse.
No, I mean, like, do you think that last night was Ovechkin's last game?
Oh.
I don't care. I care way more about the Orioles, but
I don't. I think he's going to come back, and I will buy into what a lot of the guys down there say because and girls know more about him, and that he's not really that interested in the ceremonial. Hey, let's bring out a rocking chair and give it to. They all say he's not interested in that, but I don't think he's leaving like this.
all right.
With the no playoffs. He had a decent year. What did he finish with? 32
ended
goals.
up with a strong kind of second half, right?
Yeah, he scored 32 goals. I mean, he still has it. What's that give him for his career? 940. He's not going to get to 1,000, but I just don't see him.
Yeah.
Huh?
Not in 1 year.
No. I just don't see him going out like this.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, there you go. There you have it from the man who knows. That was Shaved Ice.
Yep.
Shaved Ice brought to you by. Maybe we'll
Now
do
I
that.
got to root.
We'll
Here's the
see.
worst part. I got to root for the Penguins
Why do you have to root for the Penguins?
because they play those.
You understand you have the choice of just not rooting. You have that
no.
option.
Oh no!
Like that is the choice that you have. It's like when somebody tried to tell me I had to pick between the Dodgers and Yankees. Like, no, I don't.
Well, the Red Sox and Yankees played in
Well,
the playoffs last year, so
I don't mind the Penguins. I
I
mind
don't
the
know
other
if you're
team.
familiar. They play in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't mind them. I mind the other team.
You're familiar with Pittsburgh, right? That's
yeah.
that's where the Steelers are.
I'm familiar with that. I don't even mind them anymore. I'm so soft.
Oh, what's happened to you exactly?
Who do I not like now in the NFL? Well, I still don't like the Steelers.
There we go.
But there's somebody else. I don't really like the Eagles for some reason.
I had a
So you
hard.
just don't like Philly.
It's
Yeah,
because
I
you've
mean,
had a
it's-
hard day and you hate the effing Eagles. That's the reason.
I have had a hard day and I hate the Eagles. Hey man, be careful. I got a drink here.
That's right.
What's he call it? I got a cocktail.
Drew Forrester is here coming up later on in the program.
Ever seen any jokes?
Unfortunately, more of this. That's what's coming up later on in the program. The Orioles will go for a series win this afternoon. Kyle Bradish on the mound against Eduardo Rodriguez.
They're not getting it.
No? No, you don't like their chances today?
No. I just hope that Goof hits a home run, Alonso.
Why?
Well, I
Oh,
got
for
reasons.
financial reasons.
I got
My
reasons.
My bad. I knew.
I don't care if it's
I knew.
8-1, but I need him to hit a home run.
My sincere apologies. I definitely knew the answer to that question. I don't know why I asked.
Punch Freddie Freeman right in the face when I see him next.
Orioles made a roster move before today's game. They're going to go with 3 catchers.
That's a good idea.
Yeah? You know what they say when you have 3 catchers?
Yeah, 2 of them don't play.
Normally the way that it works, yes. But clearly Samuel Basayo has been doing all of the catching since Adley Rutschman got hurt, so they want him to have a day off. So they don't even want him to have to go in should the first catch. I don't even know who's the first catcher is going to be because have they still not put out the lineup?
I've not seen it yet.
What the hell is going on?
They just posted
Oh,
it.
just posted it?
You mean to,
Who
you
knows
just
where
wanna say
Freddie
it
Freeman
over
lives?
Don't care. Shut up.
the air
Shut
out?
up, you. Who's the catcher?
Catching.
Is it
will
Huff or
be, It will
Hanley?
be Huff.
It's
It will be Huff.
Sam Huff is catching today.
Taylor Ward is DH.
So
Who?
if Sam Huff, you remember him from the Redskins?
Yeah. What?
Yeah. He's
We
now
have somebody playing for us today named Sam Huff.
Yes, Sam Huff is the catcher.
Playing for the Orioles?
Yes, he's the
All right.
catcher for the Orioles.
Who knew?
So if Sam Huff were to get hurt, they don't even want to have to turn to Basayo in that situation. Instead, they'll go to Maverick Hanley
That'll be packed.
if
out
that
there.
would be the case. What is your deal?
I'm just angry.
Why are you so worked
I'm
up
angry.
today?
Well, because of
About
Monday night.
No.
It takes me a week to get over that.
it's that. There's your lineup.
And
Griffin
the
really
worst
wants
part is they did
Boy,
it.
wait. Who is their cleanup hitter today?
No.
They're not.
No.
There's
Wait,
no
wait,
way
wait,
that's.
wait.
There's just no. This is a bit,
Who?
right?
Jonathan. J-Rod.
Who?
There's
Julio.
no way that's what they're doing today. There's just no way. Their cleanup hitter is a guy that no one has ever heard of.
I've never heard of the left fielder either.
You've heard of.
It's Weston Wilson.
I mean, you've heard
It's
of him
Weston
only because he was with them in spring training.
Who?
and-
Well, and they interviewed him on the broadcast.
Well,
Yeah,
why
they
do we
did.
have all these guys in there?
No,
This is a
it's Mike
this
Huff.
is a gag. They're all because this is the first
On
time.
Wednesday.
This is the first time they're facing a lefty.
Blaze is in center.
This is the worst lineup I've ever seen in my life.
It is bizarre.
What the hell?
It is a bizarre lineup.
Maybe this is a gag. Yeah.
I don't think Andy Koska is making this up. I don't think that's the case.
No, he's not. I see 8 other people
Yeah.
with the same lineup. So
And is that Jackson Holiday or Jeremiah Jackson?
It's Jeremiah Jackson at second base. Jackson Holiday's not back yet. And
All right.
probably won't be back till at least next week. Oh, no. They shut him down. I didn't know you could do this.
Yeah, what's that mean?
They just shut him down, and then they can start another new rehab assignment next week.
Okay.
His rehab assignment was coming up, and they're apparently allowed to just say, no, it's not. We're going to stop it and then try again, which is a weird bit.
I had a drinking problem once, and the psychiatrist said to me, I think you should go to rehab. And I said, I'm not going to rehab. I'm not a quitter.
That's correct. That's right. New material from Drew Forrester. I haven't heard that one in, I don't know, weeks, I would say. Weeks at this point since Drew last
I used to
tried
have
that
a
one.
shirt that said rehab is for quitters, and some guy yelled at me once at Pimlico Racetrack.
We do want to encourage people to go to rehab, Drew. We do want to do that. That's your bizarre ass lineup for
That
today
is terrible.
because they're
That
facing.
means they're winning 8-2.
That's probably the case, right? They are facing a lefty for the first time in Eduardo Rodriguez.
He's given up
so-
like 1 run in 12 innings.
Yeah, I mean,
so-
Bradish is going to give up at least 2 home runs.
What's going on with Kyle Bradish?
I
man?
don't know.
I don't know.
How about the guy from the Rangers last night whose arm blew off? Did you see that?
I'm not
Oh,
familiar.
yeah.
Oh, my
What happened?
gosh.
What happened?
Show-
He,
show-
he threw a pitch. Hold on,
Show-
yeah,
his
I'll
arm
find it.
fell off.
Well, that's not
And they
good.
just he
No,
threw a
his
pitch
arm
and then
fell
just
off, and he
walked
picked
off.
it up, and he walked off.
You definitely don't want to do that.
Wait till you see this, dude. The dude's arm fell off, and he motioned for the trainer to come out. The trainer came out, and he's like, my arm fell off.
They said, well, that's not.
And the trainer's like, well, I don't think you can pitch anymore.
Yeah, right. We might have to take you out of the game if that's the case.
This was terrible.
I'll look forward to seeing it whenever
Yeah, hold on.
Well, it takes a
whenever
minute
that
to find it.
happens. Well, Griffin also doesn't know the name that he's searching
I
for.
don't.
He's just looking for.
I don't remember
Because I
where
remember
saw
seeing it, and I just.
Well,
remember
this, by the way, is why we do all of the show prep that we do. We do big time show prep for moments like this. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we won't.
Come back.
Did you hear
Come back.
Florio
I
and
don't
Chris
know.
Sims get into it?
No, I don't care about that.
Did you hear about that?
That was
so,
nothing.
You
Oh,
so
was it?
desperately
I
want to talk
mean, I
about
felt like
Diana
it was
Rossini.
anything.
Fine. Let's talk
No,
about
no.
Diana.
Did you see that
I don't
clip?
care about Chris Sims and Mike Florio. You want to talk about Diana
What's wrong
Rossini?
with
We'll
you?
talk about
What are you
it.
so mad about?
Because you come in here, you come to my house and chew gum.
I've seen your show.
Yeah.
It
And you think
needs-
this improves it?
Needs some work.
Yeah. All good with that.
It's
I
high
don't
praise.
think- I
That's
don't-
high
yeah,
praise coming
right?
from you.
I don't think this is going to be the way that we're
here
going
it
to
is,
go.
here it
Oh,
is,
this
here
the
it is.
guy?
Watch this. Watch his arm fall off.
Luis Cervello.
Sure. That,
Cerveza, watch. Watch his arm
I got
fall
it
off.
right. Well, I'm trying to show the rest of the people.
No, here it is. It's all good. Just watch his arm.
Oh.
Watch.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
He just walked right to the dugout. Just said, "Nah, man, this ain't happening."
Guy says,
It's not
"You okay?"
happening.
He's like, "No,
Nope,
not
very,
okay."
very much not
You
okay.
see the ball, 175 feet left of the catcher. The funniest part
Definitely
is, I
not
don't know if you
okay.
saw the whole clip. Angel Hernandez called that a strike.
There we go. You know what? Every now and then you totally redeem yourself. All
Oh man.
right, what do you want to say about Diana Rossini?
Who?
Courtesy of Rangers TV.
Thank you, Ranger.
I don't know.
Comes in here all fired up.
I mean, I don't know what to
We're
say.
going to talk about
Like,
Rossini,
what did you
right?
think? What did you think?
We got
about-
any variable jokes?
did-
Like he comes
what
in
did
here
you
and then I
think
give
about-
it to him and he's got nothing
Yeah,
to
I
say.
got one. Actually,
Well,
I
what
don't
did you
think
think
I
about
would
that
say.
yesterday?
What do you think about her
I mean, did you?
statement?
Well, yeah.
I mean, her statement was nothing. There was nothing there. Like
Well,
this
I mean,
is
she clearly took a shot at them
at who? At the
for
Athletic?
abandoning her. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
but she
but-
didn't do anything that suggested. She at no point in the statement suggested, "Here's why you guys are wrong." Right? Like this is the biggest issue that comes from this is that you can believe that Diana Rossini was not having an affair with Mike Vrabel. I get it. The context clues don't look good at all, and the more and more that everybody that knows about private investigators come out and say it's pretty clear that these pictures came from a private investigator and that's how this whole thing started, make it seem like there was a reason for perhaps a spouse of someone to have hired a private investigator to begin with. You can still, if you want, believe that that's not actually what was happening here. You can believe that. And it is still plausible to me that that's the scenario, right? Like it is tough when she keeps trying to say there were all these other people on this trip and nobody. I don't really care. I genuinely don't. It doesn't affect me in any way if Diana Rossini was having an affair with Mike Vrabel or not. It does not affect me one bit. It does matter to the Athletic. But what matters beyond that to the Athletic is that clearly they screwed up in the way that they handled this initially. The way that they handled this initially and didn't say, hey, it doesn't really matter if Diana Rossini is having an affair with Mike Vrabel. What matters is clearly their relationship is so close that they think this is appropriate even if they're not. And if that's the case, she can't be a reporter who covers Mike Vrabel. Spare me you have friendships with sources. Spare me that. That's the problem. That's the issue. And there are a lot of people that do this for a living. I've talked about it a million times with Jay Glazer. It's wildly inappropriate. And Jay Glazer should not be a reporter who has close personal friendships with the people that he's covering. But we've just decided we don't care anymore. We don't care. And if you want to bring up a double standard, that is a double standard. It's absolutely a double standard. Fox years ago should have said to Jay Glazer, you can do whatever you want to do here. You can be a podcaster, you can be a personality, but if you're going to be our reporter, you can't do this. That's on Fox. And that we've accepted it is low rent. We have given up. It goes way beyond this. There are reasons why we've had rules. There are reasons why we've said a president shouldn't be allowed to make certain decisions, should only have so much power. And then somebody just said one day, not this one, well before this one, what if we just didn't have those rules? What if we just didn't do that?
Well, this one's trying to fix things.
Right, great point.
I don't know if you've noticed.
What if we just didn't? What if we didn't care what standards or ethics were for reporters? What if we just said it's fine if they're all best friends with the people that they cover because, hey, the other person is doing it too? And that's the difficult part about this conversation.
Well, when you say it doesn't matter that they were having an affair, you're saying that you're talking about them interpersonally, that you don't care, and I'm not criticizing you. You're saying definitively, I don't care if they're having an affair.
I don't remotely care if they're having an affair.
But you should care if they're having an affair if she is a reporter covering the league and Mike Vrabel. They're two separate.
What I'm saying is I don't need them to be having an affair to know that that's inappropriate.
Correct.
What I'm saying is the problem isn't whether or not they're sleeping with each other. The problem is they were clearly close enough personally to think that any of that was appropriate, even if they're not. They might be. I don't know.
That one of them didn't say, hey, you know what? This is
I
probably
can't do this.
Right.
This is not okay.
Right. Well,
My job is to report on the NFL.
do you think she should have lost her job?
Yes. Or reassigned. And that could have been an option. It could have been an option for the Athletic to say, you know what? You can be a podcast host. You can be a.
Do you think?
But you cannot be a reporter anymore.
Do you think part of the problem also is she wasn't truthful with them, and that they gave her that opportunity to say, all right, give us the scoop, no pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? And when she doubled down, that's when they said, then now you got to go. Now you just can't leave.
Possibly.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Because I mean, if they call her and say, come to New York, close the door, and say, what the hell's going on? And she goes, well, you know what's going on. You guys saw the pictures. You know what's going on. Okay. Now to your point. Okay, look. Here's the deal. We value you as a reporter. You got great legs. We're going to keep you around.
That's probably not.
Yes, she does. We're going to keep you around.
Maybe we don't do this right now.
But you're going to have to go cover college football. Well, maybe not college football. You're going to have to go cover college Well, no, not that either. No, but I mean, maybe you do reassign her.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe she says, I'm an NFL reporter. I'm not doing that. And then you go, okay, well then,
right.
Now you just can't leave. Now you got to go.
That's the way it's going to go.
But I think if she went in there and said, I'm allowed to have male friends. I'm allowed to. This is outrageous. If she doubled down, then I do think you got to fire her. Personally.
Yeah.
But the other question is, what's going to happen to the coach?
Nothing.
Because now you're talking about the double standard.
No, it's not a double standard. The problem here isn't the infidelity. If alleged infidelity is not a problem.
No, not an infidelity.
Right.
That's not the issue. Yeah. The issue is the coach potentially being involved in a relationship with a reporter who he could be influencing or impacting, and whether or not the employer approves of that.
The Patriots will have to have that
conversation.
I'm not talking about the
sex part.
If they believe that Mike
we don't even know if they had
gave
sex.
Diana Rossini information that he wasn't supposed to be giving her, then that's a different conversation.
Well, that's what I'm
for
asking
the Patriots. That's their issue to deal with. There is no.
But do you think that's fireable?
If he did, I mean, if he at some point said, by the way, we intend to trade Drake May for Bo Nix this offseason. If he did something like that, then yeah, absolutely. But it's going to be very difficult for them to come up with that. That whatever Mike Vrabel is doing in his personal time really isn't relevant to being the coach. It would have to require him having done something that put the Patriots at risk in some sort of way. My guess is not a chance, right? Like.
And by the way, I would also say.
By the way, if he were a worse coach, then probably. But he's a really good coach,
right.
And so they'll deal with that.
I would also say that this, and this is a very general term, this meaning media members, and it is primarily going to be female media members because the other way around is not going to work when I say this. This has been going on and goes on regularly, and it's been going on for a long time. That and media member almost isn't even the right word anymore because I don't even know who.
But there's a really important difference between is your job a reporter or is your job again a podcast?
Okay, well,
host.
hold on. You're the female who sits in the third base well, and every inning and a half they come to you and they go, "Let's go down to Melissa now." And Melissa, tell us what's going on down there tonight. You know, well, he's throwing a lot of fastballs. What's her role?
That's a fair question.
Is she allowed to fraternize with baseball players?
In years past, the answer would have been no. Now, I think for the most part, those people are team employees, so that then becomes the team policy.
Right.
What is the team policy? And everybody's company policy is different. Sometimes it's, to your point, no inter-office relationship. Sometimes it's, well, you can have an inter-office relationship, but you have to go to HR about it. You have to have a
So now you've distinguished between, which and fairly, I'm not saying you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You usually are, but maybe not now.
Yeah, every now and then.
But you're distinguishing now between that person's no longer in the media.
Mm-hmm.
That person is now a team employee.
Correct.
And for the most part, they are, right? Like
coworkers, right.
if you're the Masson third base
And it's not even that anymore. I mean, anymore, half these teams, they're just, again, that was Diamondbacks team. They're not even on a network any longer. It's just, everything is the Diamondbacks.
Right.
You work for the Diamondbacks. You don't even work for their network.
I thought that yesterday, I thought her letter was very interesting, very well written, probably polished over 3 times by a PR firm.
Right,
I think it was very obvious she was taking a shot at them at the end, saying, and I'm not saying that she was right to do this either. I think this was the way she wanted to position it. I told you everything, and everything was fine until you all decided you wanted to reinvestigate, and then you hurt my feelings, and now you're contributing to my delinquency. So I got to go.
They screwed up from the get-go.
I
A lot of this is on the Athletic.
By saying what?
By not immediately saying we are going to investigate
Right.
this. We are not just going to quickly and immediately.
You can't be at, I don't even care what the context is. You can't be at a pool with the head football coach of a team in the NFL. I don't care if there's 24 girls there. Mike probably would like that. But I don't care who's there. You can't be there.
Not if you're a reporter.
Right.
If your job is to report news, if that is your job, you cannot
But you have to remove
period.
right. And this is where I would blame her. And I would pile on her a little bit. Like you know better than this.
Mm-hmm.
You know how this looks. And this goes back to your point a little bit. Like, come on, man. You two know that this isn't cool. That's your point. I mean, and
again,
generally, that's what you're saying.
By
right?
the way, obviously, if she was
know.
if she's having an affair, that's a completely different conversation. But no matter what was going on,
you
interlocking fingers, and you are clearly way too close,
no doubt,
to someone you cover.
And you know that, though.
Period.
But you're not a 24-year-old out of Syracuse who's just learning the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know this isn't right.
And look,
and again, you're delineating, or you're trying to separate the fact. If this is the pool boy, it
doesn't
might
matter.
not. But well, wait a minute. If this is the pool boy, that's still your cross to bear. But
right,
but that's
correct.
okay. That's your call.
That's between you and your husband at that point. That's between you and
but
your
if
family.
If you're doing this, if you're in an environment, and what I'm about to say, they're not germane in any way other than using your brain, right? We just went for spring break to Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
We had 4 team dads go on the trip. They're awesome. I love them all. They're terrific.
Mm-hmm.
They've been great supporters of the program. I love their sons. They're awesome. We went down there, and every night they would go out to dinner. The dads would, and every night they'd go out and have a cocktail in downtown Charleston, which is a gorgeous place. And every night they would send me a text. Hey, coach, you want to come and have a glass of wine with us? No, I'm good. I just don't want to be. I don't even.
You're there in the capacity of being the coach of a team, and anything that you might do could affect your job.
And I'm also there to make sure your kids are safe.
There's that too.
And I don't want and I just don't want the optics. I always use that word.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't want the optics of me. It's totally innocent. I could go have a glass of wine with them and be totally fine.
Right.
But I just don't want to put myself in that position. Contrary to what you might think, like I'm smart enough to know that.
Right.
That I know. But I'm smart enough to know that.
Yes.
Like, I can't put myself in that position. Well, you know why he's playing in the match next week? He and the coach are buddies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
She knew better.
Right.
And so did he. And I do think we're in a society where we snicker and we close the door and we laugh about him. It's not.
I mean, one, he's got a wife too, and he's got to deal with that with her. And again,
but I'm saying,
and look,
we live in a world, we live in a sports world where we think it's funny for him, but it's not good for her.
Right? There would be, but
and it's not cool either way.
You keep saying that.
It's not. He
what
can't
part
have
of it? What part of it?
He can't have an inappropriate relationship with a member of the media. It's not. It's not.
Again, you're going to say inappropriate to him. If he's having an affair, I probably agree with that. If it is nothing other than
if it's nothing other than they're just friends, then it's a whole different story. But it doesn't.
But it's not a whole different story for her. For him, it is. It is completely different if it's just. I said this the other day with Rita. Everybody has opinions about it. You will see at some point at the pig roast me act very flirty with one of my friends' wives, and one of my friends will act very flirty with. Yeah, correct. It's a different conversation. No, wait a second.
Should we
no,
talk?
No. Hang on a second.
Should we talk more about this?
Yeah,
or?
hang on a second.
I mean, I think your wife's hot. So.
Yeah, I mean, there we go. You got that going for you. By all means, come to the pig roast.
Oh, I'm going to.
Right?
Like,
But
about 1:30 a.m.
I'll do that. We will act flirty
Right.
because we're around each other and we know. And
Well,
we know
you're
the deal.
drinking.
And we're having fun and it's all good and it doesn't mean anything more than that. And that's easy over there. I've kissed your wife on the lips.
Hey.
You better settle down over there.
Watch yourself.
Yeah, right. Exactly right.
You'll be on the couch with her.
I understand.
Well, maybe.
Wait
never
a
mind.
second.
Never mind.
Wait a second. But the point being, like, there is it's possible. I get it. The context clues
Well,
make
it is
look
possible to have a male-female relationship that doesn't turn
yes,
inappropriate or
it's
sexual.
absolutely
but
possible.
I don't think you, as a football coach, can have any kind of relationship that extends beyond what is considered acceptable. And it's not acceptable
It's
for Mike Vrabel to show up at some resort somewhere
yeah.
and hang out with this female reporter. It's not acceptable.
If that's all it is just a friendship and they act flirty, there really to me isn't much there. Now again,
Right.
if Mike Vrabel was telling her inside secrets, that's a different conversation and they got to
Right.
deal with that. But if it's just that, I don't think there's much onus on Mike Vrabel. Now, he's probably a bad friend because he's got to know that that's not okay for her to be doing. And at some point, he maybe passes that along and says, hey, are you really going to risk your job over us hanging out
by
in
the way,
Sedona?
he's dying.
It's the third time it's happened this week. I'm very nervous about it.
What's wrong with him?
I don't know what's going on. I
You all
don't
right?
know. I was talking to Brad Brock last week, and all of a sudden,
He lost it.
like, just lost it. And I was like, do I have to stop the show? Is
wrong
he
with
going to
you?
perish right here?
I think just allergies.
Oh yeah.
Or,
This is-
or something far worse.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
really
mean,
starting
you're
to worry
either-
that it,
right.
yeah,
I
it
mean,
might be
you never know.
a lung disease of
Right.
some sort, man.
Right.
It's
Anyway,
the last time
be
you went to it.
insane.
It's the last time you went to a doctor.
there's 4.
Yeah, correct. You're of that age where you just don't go to a doctor. It just
Years
doesn't.
probably.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. Maybe go to a doctor.
I would just
Maybe.
go and just
Who's
tell
got
him.
time for that?
It's a
Yeah, I
great
know,
point.
He's busy.
Who's got time?
Well, anyway, so that was good.
That's what Jim Henson said.
That was a good
How'd
chat.
that work out for him?
It was a good chat.
But look again. She can do this. She can be friends with coaches and be friends and do whatever she wants to do. If that's what it is, she can't do that as a reporter. If your title is reporter, you know better. Period. You know better.
All right.
You mentioned you went to Charleston. You also went to Augusta.
Oh yeah, went to the Masters. It was awesome. Last Monday we went. Great day. Chamber of Commerce. Beautiful, beautiful day.
Kind of it's really from a storyline perspective. I'm sure hardcore golf people have things to say. I don't know. It was kind of a bummer there's not really a predominant storyline to me that comes. I mean, they were trying to force did Rory have an advantage because he got to play at Augusta? But there is
You're an
nothing
idiot.
there.
Right. It's
yeah, there is.
garbage. But well, here's the storyline. And it's not exciting, so that's why it hasn't been propped up. The storyline is how incredibly resilient that kid is. Incredibly. How many times he has risen and fallen, sometimes in the same tournament, sometimes in the same round, sometimes in the same hour, and how he always comes out like a cat jumping off the roof. He always winds up on his feet somehow. He is incredibly resilient. I wrote this earlier in the week. He's not as good at golf as Tiger. There's no doubt about that. But he is as tough or tougher than Tiger. This kid could have broken 10 other times in his career. And he never he does break, and then he comes back, and he breaks, and he comes back. Then he misses the green from 120 yards. Then he hits the greatest shot of his life. Then he misses the green and has to go to a playoff, but he makes a birdie on the first playoff hole. That is the storyline. The storyline is how resilient he is. But from the sexy, this guy won, and here's what it does for his career.
So then why did it take? What happened over those 10 years then? What?
Well, if you go back and look at the chronology of it, and I'm not gonna come up with the right years because I don't have it right off the top of my head. But if you go back and look at the chronology of it, he's finished in the top 10 in a major 28 times in his career and won 6, so 34 total. So, and then he's finished top 5 17 times, 6 of which have been wins. So 11 other times he's finished top 5. So he's been very, very close. And he's had a number of occasions when he could have won. He was in the final group with Patrick Reed in 18 when Reed won. He was tied for the lead on the back 9 with Molinari at the British Open when Molinari won. Obviously, he farted away the U.S. Open at Pinehurst, 2 ahead with 4 to play. He missed those 2 short putts. Hit a terrible wedge into the par 5 11th hole at L.A. Country Club when Wyndham Clark won, and he was 1 shot out of the lead, about to tie for the lead. He's had a lot of chances. I would say that from a golf standpoint, purely from a golf standpoint, the one thing that's always been a little small Achilles heel for him has been he has not been a great wedge player. He's been one of the best drivers of the golf ball in the history of the sport. He's overpowering, hits it a long way. When his putter is really good, he's great. He's not been a great wedge player in his career. But, all those other parts of his game have been so much better than everybody else's that has made him into one of the best players of this generation. So what happened is golf kind of happened, right? Golf happened, and some of his flaws did get exposed under the gun. This last 12 months has been really huge for him. To win the Players, then come back and win the Masters a month later, then win it again now. And, if you look at what happened Sunday, 4 or 5 guys had a chance to win. Every one of them fell victim to the exact same thing. Nobody could make a putt on Sunday. Henley, who's one of the best putters on tour, couldn't make a putt. Burns couldn't make a putt. Cam Young should have won the tournament by 5 shots. Couldn't make a putt. Rose couldn't make a putt. There were only 2 putts of 15 feet or more made on the back 9 by the leaders. Scheffler made that crazy putt on 15 when he was in the trees the whole time, and Rory made that decent size 7-footer at 12, and then whatever that was at 13, maybe 10 feet. Nobody else made a putt. Nobody. And then a little bit of that is the back 9. They always say, right, doesn't start till the back 9 on Sunday. A little bit of that is the nerves. I thought Rose, of all the guys who have regrets, Rose is the one who had the biggest regret because he kind of had it in the palm of his hand. If he just makes a par at 11 and hits a good shot into 12, he's kind of rolling. So, I would agree in general. It kind of came off as a little bit of a blah Sunday. There were a lot of great shots hit on Sunday. A lot of great shots. There just weren't a lot of putts made. But from a historical standpoint, it does do a lot for him.
So that's the part.
I would say that.
Why? Why does it do a lot?
He's now tied with Faldo for European major champions. I know Harry Vardon was a European, but nobody even knows if he really was alive.
This goes back to Babe Ruth,
right? So Faldo now has 6, and obviously Faldo didn't win. Faldo only won 2 majors. He won 3 Masters and 3 British Opens. So first of all, it ties him with Faldo. There's something kind of magical about that number for whatever reason. Trevino won 6, Phil has 6, Faldo had 6. There's something about 6. 3 in golf is considered a lot. Lots of players have won 2. 2's great. Anybody can win 1. Freaking Rich Beam won 1.
Steve Jones won.
Steve Jones won 1, right. Anybody can win 1. Most of the time, now Lee Jansen and Zach Johnson might be the outliers here, but most of the time, journeyman / average, none of them are average, but you know what I mean. Journeyman players don't win 2. Well, some guys did. Zach won 2. Lee Jansen won 2 U.S. Opens. Who else would fit that criteria? Maybe even John Daly. I mean, John Daly was never a dominant player, but he did win 2. The greats win 3. So Singh won 3, Nick Price won 3. If you're a great player and you win 3 majors in your career, that's extraordinary. Now you get to 4. Now you're talking about Ernie Els, Ray Floyd. Now you're talking about some of the best players of their era. Now you get to 5 and 6, and now you're
so that's the part. I differentiate 5 and 6. You bring up the Faldo thing out and European players. That's relevant to me. I just don't.
Everyone in Europe, by the way, does not think Faldo was the best European player. Interestingly enough,
it's interesting.
Everyone thinks it was Seve.
Okay.
So Seve, and again, Seve did the same thing as Faldo. He just won one less. He won 3 British and 2 Masters. He never won any of the other ones. So that's why the career Grand Slam was so important for Rory last year.
Sure.
Because it now says, you know this from tennis, right? Everybody always talks about how great Sampras was.
Yeah, but he never
didn't win. Didn't win the French, right? So there's something about winning that got him even with Ballesteros. Now he's ahead of Ballesteros, and he's also 37 years old. And you also have to remember, from a golf standpoint, he has also had an incredible career on the European Tour. So he's not Tiger. Tiger has 82 career wins, and I'm going to assume or guess that Tiger might have won 6 times on the European Tour or 4.
Yeah, going over before the British Open.
Yeah, he hardly ever played in those events. He might have won in Abu Dhabi once or twice. I don't even know. But Rory has won everywhere Rory's ever gone. He's won, and he also he also has the game. I don't, no one's going to do this, but he could easily win all 4 in a year. I say easily, meaning he has the game to win all 4, and there aren't a lot of guys who could say that. Scotty could win all 4 in a year for sure. McIlroy definitely could win all 4 in a year for sure. I even think somebody like Morikawa, not that he will, but his game, everything he does fits into like majors. He just fits into majors. He hits it straight. He doesn't hit it overly long, but his irons are great. He's a decent putter. There aren't many guys that you can say, hey, he could win at Augusta. He could win at the PGA. He could win a U.S. Open. He could win a British. Rory's done all of that.
Yep.
So
I just didn't think that the defending it. I've never heard anybody suggest that, like,
it is interesting that only 4 guys have ever done that.
It's interesting, but it feels way more anomaly than accomplishment because nobody ever talks about, like, well, Tiger Woods also defended. Like, nobody ever says that at the end of someone's career as if it was an accomplishment.
Right.
Like, that it stands out more. The number of times you won the tournament matters. The years in which, hey, it happened to be the 2 of them were back-to-back, no one ever talks about that at the end of someone's career.
It's funny, though, and you're right, but it is funny how much that does matter at the U.S. Open. Strange defended his. Hale Irwin had a chance to win 3 in a row. Curtis had a chance to win 3 in a row. It is interesting. Maybe Irwin didn't have a chance to win 3 in a row because he won it in – yeah, he didn't have a chance to win 3 in a row. But he had a chance to – maybe he did. Maybe Irwin went back-to-back and then didn't win, then won his 3rd at Medina. But I know Curtis had a chance to win 3 in a row. And it was a huge deal when you win back-to-back U.S. Opens. And a little bit of that is because the golf tournament and the golf course changes. Augusta doesn't change. Rory could win the next 3, by the way. I mean, couples said that kind of tongue-in-cheek. Like, he could win 5 in a row, and everyone's like, yeah, Freddie's drunk again. If he wins next year, he's got 3 of the 5, right?
Correct.
But you're at the same golf course every year.
Yes.
And that's and there is something, everybody, any Tiger detractor always points to, dude, he won 10 times at Torrey Pines and 10 times at Bay Hill. Take those away, he has 60 wins. Right?
Then they don't count.
Right. But there is something to be said for that. In all fairness, I'm not detracting away from winning, but you're playing the same place. Winning the U.S. Open means I win this year. Curtis won at Brookline, then he went and won at Oak Hill. So when you do that, that is saying something. So maybe that's why too at Augusta. Maybe it's just not a big deal because
you defended it right. It's the same course.
Yeah.
Correct.
Now, what is interesting is who did it. Now that is what's interesting. It's the same guys that always pop up.
Right.
Correct. Tiger did it. Yes. Jack did it. Who else defended? I forget who else it was. There was somebody else.
Hang on a second.
Tiger, Jack, and was it Gary Player?
Sorry.
Tiger, Jack, and Gary Player.
I was afraid to cough because it was Faldo.
Faldo.
Hell. Yep.
You slapped me in the
Yep.
face for
Faldo.
that. Right, Faldo. Yep. So it is interesting the names that just keep coming up, right? It's the same guys that won the Grand Slam. Faldo didn't, but obviously Tiger and Jack did. So I love the tournament. It's my favorite tournament of the year. I don't mind Rory winning. I really, really wanted Rose to win.
Well, I think that was the consensus among golf people.
I wanted Rose to win. And I wouldn't have minded seeing Cameron Young win because I think he's on the cusp of maybe really being a star. Cameron Young is very close to being a star. I don't know that his personality lends itself to that. He's not Fowler or Spieth or one of those guys that people are going to gravitate to like, you put the sport of golf on your back now, Cameron. That's not him.
Yeah, but is there a guy like that exists? I mean,
Well, Spieth could for sure.
yeah,
But
he's
he's
so far removed.
But he's
from,
he's no good anymore, right?
Right.
Ricky could.
But it's not happening any longer.
Right.
Like I'm saying, is there
a younger player
that people
right
are even
now
excited about that are even
right?
like nobody's that with respect to Scotty Scheffler's greatness, like he's not a dynamic personality that people gravitate towards in any way.
Right. Well, in fact, right. If the interesting thing about Scheffler is how he has done this and doesn't want to be that guy.
Correct.
He doesn't really want to be that guy. He just wants to be a golfer who
I know
wins.
golf people really like Tommy Fleetwood. Like he's really popular among golf people, but I have not sensed that has crossed over at all into regular human beings.
Well, I don't think we would as much as I know.
Oh, Homo would be the answer, right? That would be the answer.
Who?
Matt, yeah.
Maybe. He's
popular.
He's
with
an interesting personality.
Bros,
yeah, he's an interesting personality. I would also say if you got to know more about Chris Gotterup, you would find him to be that way too.
Yeah, but
he's only won 4 times.
The average person has no idea who that is.
But you will if he keeps winning. That's what I'm saying. Like Max Homa's probably only won 4 times.
Oh yeah, I mean
right. But
more people know who
Homa's
he is
got
because
the
he's
California,
gone out, and he's gone
right.
out of his way to try to be more of a personality, to try to be going on everybody's podcast.
Well, and no matter what we say, here, and I know the musical influence of English bands has been, huge in America, and I get that. There are no English golfers who are going to resonate with the American golfing population. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
It's just not. Like, now, Rory,
yes.
Rory, isn't English, obviously. He's from Ireland. But,
I mean,
but even Rory is an international golf needle mover.
Mm-hmm.
If they go play a tournament tomorrow in India,
it's a big deal that he's there. Yes.
It's a big deal that Rory's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really a big deal that Rory goes and plays at Muirfield Village in Ohio.
I disagree with that. I think Rory is one of the few that like casual people actually care about.
Okay.
Very few.
Okay.
I didn't realize that Max Homa was only 117th ranked golfer in the world.
Well, he's had a really off last 2 years.
Jesus.
Very off last 2 years.
All right.
But anyway, I wish it would have had more drama. And of course, it did at the 18th hole because we always knew he was going to do something crazy at 18. But I wish it would have had more drama. But at the end of the day, the right guy won. And if it wasn't Scheffler,
and really won the tournament on Friday, like really won it on Friday.
You say that, but where he really won it was by not shooting 77 on Saturday when he had no game.
When he stunk. I understand what you're saying, but the reason he's the champion of the tournament is because of what he did on Friday.
A little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Today's show brought to you by County Sports Zone, countysports.zone. If you want to know what's going on in high school golf, for example, you can go to countysports.zone and find it there. What happened? I thought you guys were going to go undefeated this year. What?
Well, we're not.
I'm aware.
Yeah, we're not. Well, we didn't play well, first of all, that day, and the other team outputted us, which doesn't happen much.
Sounds like John Harbaugh doing a press
right,
conference.
Right.
No, what happened was they were good. We weren't very good.
I'm not trying to take anything away from them. Like they played well against us. We did not play well.
Mm-hmm. All right, there you go. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Countysports.zone.
Came back the next day and played well, and we won.
There you go. Proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. When we come back in, all of your favorite Wednesday features, and Drew and I will debate the calendar. That's next.
Really?
Ken Clark Radio.
This is Stan the Fan. You know we talk all the time about our O's stepping up in the big moments, delivering when it matters most. If you've been injured in a car accident anywhere around Baltimore, that's your big moment, and you need someone who delivers. That's why I'm here to tell you about Warnken Injury Lawyers. They fight for Baltimore families every single day. Insurance companies play games. Warnken plays to win. So call 443-RESULTS. That's 443-RESULTS, or go to warnkenlaw.com. When you need results, it's right there in the number, 443-RESULTS.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website CostasInn.com for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now. On the cover, Bill Ordine dives in on how different Preakness will be temporarily at Laurel Park, and then long-term once it returns to Pimlico. Also inside, Luke Jackson learns more about what Trey Hendrickson will bring to the Ravens. And Karuga Koinange looks at how Samuel Basayo is influencing the Orioles' international signing efforts. PressBox is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR. Drew Forrester is here on a Wednesday edition of the program. What do we want to do first? Hit the open. All right.
I guess because we already did hockey, we can't do that.
We can do hockey. It's time for the big playoff preview edition of Shaved Ice. Not everything's set just yet. Still 2 nights left in the regular season before the playoff gets underway. What say you, Drew Forrester?
Well, I am checking on one thing because I saw the scores last night, but I didn't see
If someone scored.
Scored.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah, don't worry. I had that. I'm punching on Drysdale right in the face when I see him next. But let me just check this real quick. Anyway, yeah, Caps, as you know, are home for the summer. I don't even want to get into.
They're working on their skills, right?
I don't even want to get into. I don't even want to talk about that. I know you're trying to troll me, but I don't want to get into it. But Buffalo,
not my team.
Buffalo has 1 game left in the season. So does Tampa Bay. And the Sabres, shockingly enough, could win the Atlantic. Carolina won the Metropolitan. It's weird because I got in this discussion with somebody the other day. We were talking about who we thought was going to be in the final, and I said, well, if Winnipeg somehow got in the playoffs, which I'm 95% sure they're not, right? If Winnipeg got in, I would almost think Winnipeg could make a crazy run because of how good their goalkeeper is and the fact that they got 3 guys that can score. Connor, Scheifele, and Velarde. But they are out. They have been eliminated. So forget that. I do like Carolina. Carolina's my team to win.
Do you like the playoff format?
Where they reshuffle and all that stuff?
Where they so you have 3 teams from the
a little bit.
division, right? That's the way. And then the 4th team could be
anybody.
Okay.
Right. So Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Montreal, Boston, Ottawa, all in from the Atlantic. Carolina, Pittsburgh, and other team is in from the Metropolitan. So 5 teams made it from the Atlantic, and 3 teams made it from the Metropolitan. And the Caps, despite having, you ready? 10 more wins than the Flyers. Didn't make it.
It's a real shame, man.
10 more.
It's just a real bummer. Just a real
So that
bummer.
tells you why the league sucks. Colorado wound up as the President's Trophy winner. I don't know. I know they had a great year. I just don't feel it from them.
You know what? It's a better bit when he doesn't know what he's talking about. Move on.
All right.
It's a better. This is boring. Like, he's just reading the standings. That's all he's doing.
I have a weird. Here's my prediction.
Uh-huh.
I think the final's going to be Dallas and Carolina.
All right. Very good. There you go.
That's my prediction.
Now.
I have no idea what's going on.
There were 2 great games last night.
I know.
It's time for hanging on the rim as we are into the play-in tournament.
God.
One night down in the play-in tournament.
I did see that.
Here's your host of Hanging on the Rim to break down everything about the basketball playoffs as he goes to read the scores right now on his phone. He's Drew Forrester.
No. I don't need to do that. I just know who won. I know Charlotte won, and I know the Trail
did?
Now,
played.
what does that mean?
Charlotte played Miami.
Now, what does that mean for those two teams?
Well, Charlotte's through, and Miami's got to go back into the hopper.
And the thing about that is no. That is not
is Miami
what
done?
that means.
Miami's done?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Charlotte's in, and the Trailblazers are in.
They are in. That
Eliminating-
part you are right about.
Our hero.
Nope. They didn't eliminate anybody.
Well, wait a minute.
That's incorrect.
Okay.
The Trailblazers are in. You're
Okay.
right about that part.
All right.
The Suns now play another game.
Oh, so they're in
on
the hopper.
Friday.
They go
yes.
back in the hopper.
They go back.
But
in the
why
hopper
does
to
the other
play
team not go
season.
back in the hopper?
Because they did it weird this year where they had a 7-8 game and a 9-10 game.
Oh, gotcha.
On the same
on
night.
night one.
All right,
yes.
so I was right.
No, you weren't right.
But I was right.
Well,
you had three of the four facts
flipped. Yeah,
incorrect.
Right.
The
Well,
game's flipped.
Maryland, Florida State.
That's
they
a great point. And how about Robert McIntyre's temperament?
Right. Yeah, right.
That's the reason why.
I mean,
It's he's got the temperament to win.
I just got to
As
figure
he- as he gives you the middle finger.
I just got to figure out what from Maryland,
we
Florida
didn't
State.
talk about
did.
Sergio.
Well, that was Masters
Okay,
enforced.
I actually wanted to talk about the basketball. Did you see? It was my first introduction to the Prime coverage, and I thought it was pretty good until
they cut out. It cut out.
overtime.
Yeah.
in the
just
middle of
cut out.
overtime.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties on the screen for a
not-
full,
not-
I don't know, 2
not
minutes. I mean, it was
Well, that's what they've been putting up on the Wizards
unbelievable.
Yeah.
screen for
There's
7
been a lot of
years.
technical difficulties. You're not wrong.
Well, yeah,
Okay,
trading
so there are
Denny
4
Avdia.
teams playing tonight in the play-in tournament.
Okay.
How many of those teams can you name?
Oh boy, I probably couldn't do that.
Oh, I can name those. Golden State.
He did just check his phone.
No,
he did just check
I didn't
his
check
phone.
my phone.
Are
Golden
they
State.
playing? Yeah, go ahead.
Give me a second. Golden
see if I can
State
get
is
it.
playing Sacramento.
No.
Okay.
But he did name a Western Conference team, and I got to give them credit for that.
Yeah, Golden State is playing. Not playing the Bucks because the Bucks are terrible.
Also in the Eastern Conference.
Well, they're terrible.
Right.
Right. Oh, yeah, they're not playing Dallas. Dallas is really bad. St. Louis doesn't have a team. Kansas City doesn't.
You should try again. Maybe the Spirits.
Oh, they're playing Utah.
Not playing Utah.
They're not?
Definitely not playing Utah.
Okay. Oh, they're playing the Clippers.
They are playing the Clippers.
Okay. What's Memphis? Memphis is in.
Memphis
or
is
did they
playing
miss
New
it?
Orleans.
No, I thought they missed.
No,
Oh,
Memphis.
they did?
New Orleans is playing. New Orleans is playing.
Yeah, Memphis missed.
Yeah,
they
Memphis
did?
is out.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
come on,
New
dog.
Orleans missed as well.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. Nice
Come on, dog.
try. Nice try.
Shut up.
Nice try. It's
Anyway,
the Nuggets and Timberwolves, the Lakers and the Rockets. Now we know the Trailblazers and the Spurs, and now we just await who else comes out of the
He'll
Western
never get the
Conference.
two East Coast teams.
who?
Oh yeah. And what about the Eastern Conference? Who's playing tonight?
Orlando and Philly.
Wow.
Definitely checked his phone.
I didn't check
Definitely
my
checked
phone.
his phone, and then just forgot it was the
I mean,
Clippers.
he is the
after
host.
each time.
He is the host.
I am
of
the
Hanging on
host.
Rim.
Orlando and
And who
Philly.
do you like? Who's going all the way, huh?
Who's going all the way? Diana Rossini.
Oh.
I mean, you. I don't know why. I mean, you just. It's like a 2-foot putt. You just gave it to me, right?
I sure did.
Who's going all the way? At least I didn't say Mrs. Clark. Right?
We're married, so.
Who's going all the way?
long time.
I don't know, man. I feel like the Spurs. This is there's something about the whole Popovich not coaching, giving him a farewell gift, Wemby coming on. I'm going to say San Antonio.
All right. You know, that
I know
normally
Oklahoma City.
normally doesn't happen where a team that hasn't been to the playoffs at all
I know.
gets there for the first time
I know.
and then wins it all.
I know.
It's extraordinarily rare that you see something like that.
It's not the Pacers.
Probably not the pace.
Although
Probably not.
that meme this week makes me immediately.
The guy and the girl.
Oh.
Yeah, right, the whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah, I get it.
And just the fact now that we all have found out who they are, and we know who they are, and they're like a totally regular, just great.
Well, apparently she's an influencer. Like,
Well,
she
she had like a burner almost, I guess.
Yeah,
But she like
she might be
She
in-
would like S post.
I might be annoyed by her, honestly.
Okay.
I might be annoyed by her.
Okay.
I might be done with them.
Well, that was great stuff.
So the Spurs, Drew Forrester, call it right now. They're winning.
Spurs over the Pistons.
Spurs Pistons in the NBA Finals. Yep. Griffin's going to race over and take care of that. Now, let's debate the calendar.
Yeah, I don't know where this is going.
Yeah, you don't. New print issue of PressBox now available starting today at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Bill Ordine's going to join us here in a few minutes. He's going to talk about his cover story about the future of the Preakness. But unfortunately not in there because we just learned this week, a report from Sports Business Journal about Preakness apparently being ready to move dates. As the story from the Sports Business Journal suggested that in their conversations with media rights holders, they would be looking to move back 1 week. Now, in talking about this yesterday, it became clear to me that I did miss. So
it goes Derby 2 weeks off, Preakness 2 weeks off.
Well, we don't know yet. The Belmont hasn't said they're moving their date.
Derby,
And to be
Preakness,
fair,
Belmont.
the Maryland Jockey Club hasn't said they're moving the date yet either. But
Okay.
again, according to the Sports Business Journal, in the conversations they're having with NBC, Fox, Amazon Prime, they are saying that they are willing or they are prepared to move the date back a week. They know they have to make sure that the Derby horses run because these rights holders aren't going to pay the same amount of money for a race where they don't know that they're going to have the Derby horse anymore. So they are realizing they have no choice. The Belmont has yet to say anything, and when we talk to the Jockey Club, they say they haven't discussed it yet. They're not confirming anything, and they have not discussed anything with either of the other races about a change to the calendar yet. But it appears...
But not for this year.
No, it wouldn't be for this year, no. It would be moving forward when the rights are up after this year and when the Preakness comes back, the new Pimlico next year.
Okay.
The issue
Is it
that
at
I
Laurel
have,
this year?
It's at Laurel this year.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
The issue that I have is that moving it back 1 week moves it to Memorial Day weekend. Now, I said this, I think I didn't do the full math.
It does?
Yes. Moving it back 1 week moves it to Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
6 out of every 7 years.
Right. I was going to say, what?
Every now and then.
It's the last
Memorial
28,
Day,
29.
Memorial Day is on the 31st.
Right.
And then it would be the 5th Saturday would be Memorial Day
Right.
weekend, and so it wouldn't be the same weekend.
But most of the time it's going to be 16, 7. It's going to be
6 out of
23, 24, 25.
Yeah,
and-
6 out of every 7 years.
Okay, gotcha.
Essentially, because leap years screw this up. But essentially 6 out of every 7 years.
Gotcha.
The Preakness would then fall on Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
Which I do not like even a little bit. I
Okay.
think that's a very bad idea. We have traditions. We have things that we do. A lot of people go to the beach that weekend, go away. That's a bad weekend for a local event. The argument would be, but it might be a good weekend for a TV event. That's what they really care about. They don't really care about local people anymore. They care about tourism dollars and television dollars. So what say you if this is definitively them drawing a line in the sand and saying, we know we will no longer be able to run the Preakness 2 weeks after the Kentucky Derby, what should the calendar then be?
I think it's fine.
Right, but I just said they're not going to do it anymore. So now, in that context, what should it be?
What do you mean you said they're not going to do it?
Yeah, it's very clear based on this reporting they're not going to run the Preakness 2 weeks after the Derby anymore.
Oh, so now it's out.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, what would the appropriate calendar be if you can't leave it like this?
Well, why are they not willing to do it?
Because
This is a good debate. This is a good
because
debate.
they don't want the Derby horses skipping the Preakness.
No, hold on. I'm missing something. Are they moving this thing to Memorial Day week?
Oh, no, you're asking about Memorial Day week. You're
Yes.
okay with it being Memorial
Yeah,
Day
oh,
weekend.
yeah.
Okay, then I thought you when
Pay
you said
attention.
No, you didn't say it that way. You said, I think it's fine.
Right. I think it's fine. I think moving it is fine.
To Memorial Day weekend specifically.
Yes.
Why are you okay with Memorial Day weekend?
Because you're not.
Drew Forrester, Drew'sMorningDish.com.
No.
Fairways and Greens coming up.
No. Not unless anyway. Because I do agree, and I know you said this is kind of throwaway, but you're right. They don't really care how many people go. They want 120,000.
No, I absolutely do not believe they want 120,000. I don't think there's a chance in hell they want 120,000 moving forward.
Okay.
Well, they do not want. I mean, if they could get 120,000 wealthy people, they would take them, but they can't get that. So they don't want. They don't want 40,000 riffraff.
Right. Let me finish. They want 120,000, but going forward, that isn't really necessary. If you throw 75,000 people in there and you have a great day, I don't think that takes away from the event at all.
Well, again, in their mind, I think that they would see 120,000 as a negative.
Okay.
They don't want that.
That's fine. So I think you're saying by moving it, you're eliminating everybody who's crossing the Bay Bridge that weekend. You're eliminating all those people.
Not just the people that go to the beach, but there are lots of things that we do.
You're having Memorial Day, open pool, big picnic.
There are lots of people that go to the lacrosse Final Four every year, right?
I get it.
There's lots of things that are traditions for Memorial Day weekend that we've done for
But I do
decades.
think the only, and this is horse people don't want to hear this, just like golf people don't want to hear that the only 4 tournaments that really matter are those 4. Yeah, there are 4 others that matter, but none of the 4 come even close to being as important as the 4 majors.
There are other tournaments that matter to golf people. There aren't other tournaments that matter to the casual.
Right. Nobody cares about horse racing in this country except for 3 races.
Yes.
So you should do whatever it is you can do to make those 3 be the absolute best they can be. Whatever that is.
But does putting on Memorial Day weekend do that?
Yes.
Why?
Because you're going to get the horses that ran in the Derby who were all competitive to run again.
Well, you can do that if you move it back even another week after that. I think
so. Gotcha. So you're suggesting move it to the first week of June and let the Belmont move.
Yes, correct.
Gotcha.
That's my argument.
And I wouldn't. So
my argument is don't do Memorial Day weekend. It's a bad weekend to me all around. Now,
again, golf did this with shuffling the majors around. Golf didn't like going April, June, July, and August. There were some weather issues with August, and particularly where they used to put the PGA every year, and they didn't like empty May. So they go April, May, June, July.
Right.
And now golfers are going to go wherever. They couldn't care less, right? If tournaments in Minneapolis, they're
where's
going,
the money?
Right?
That's where we're going to be.
But same for horse racing. It might not be a bad idea to go May, June, July. That might not be a bad idea. You run the first week in Kentucky, first week of May in Kentucky, first week of June in Baltimore, first week.
Or you can just call it the week after Memorial Day, because if it happens to be the Memorial Day,
whatever it is,
right? What's the earliest Memorial Day? Could be the 22nd. If Memorial Day is on the 22nd, and there's a weekend after Memorial Day that's still in May, right? I would say run it the first Saturday after Memorial Day.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean it changes, but in
now,
theory,
it might be that they have to do it just for math reasons. They say it's too complicated for people. We have to make it the first Saturday in June so people understand.
But in theory, I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. That but again, I'm just going to summarize it by saying moving it, to me, is fine.
No, I don't think they have a choice anymore. I think that's over. They have to move it.
Right.
And the networks are telling them they have to move it.
Right.
That even if you still think that, the history of the Triple Crown, even if you think all that matters, we're telling you we don't give a rat's ass.
Right.
We're telling you if you want our money.
If you run the Preakness sans the Derby winner, the Preakness sucks.
Correct.
Let's just be honest.
Yep.
That's why the Preakness has always been the best race.
Because you knew, no matter what.
You don't know who's winning the Derby.
Correct.
So they just come and run.
Yep.
But the Preakness has always been the best race because you're getting the Derby winner.
Yep.
And there's always a chance you're going to have a Triple Crown winner.
And they're telling you got to keep doing that. And look, I think the Jockey Club knows that too. They knew that this is becoming a problem. They didn't need the networks to tell them that.
Right.
The horse people were telling. Now, there's still a few people in the horse community that would say, this breaks my heart. I hate this. The people that are involved, if you want to get involved, you should have to commit to, if we win the Derby, we're going to run the Preakness, because we don't want it to be that this now creates Triple Crown winners. The danger in doing something like this is that it waters down the idea of the Triple Crown to who's just the best horse of the year, right? Like, it's not.
Right. So I'm agreeing with you. Like, it doesn't really matter when you move it, but I do think it should be moved, and I think it should be moved, almost solely because it's going to give you the best chance to make sure the Derby winner runs.
But I uniquely think it's important when you move it. They know they need to move it. I think it's a mistake to run it Memorial Day weekend.
I just don't know that I buy that, but fair enough. I mean, this is an area of the country where there is a lot of nobody cares about Memorial Day in Florida. It's 84 degrees every day there.
Correct.
Right. So I get it. This is the opening of summer here.
Yep.
I do get that.
I don't want to compete against that. I also think that it's while you say Florida in certain places, I would say Memorial Day wasn't a very big deal in Arizona when I lived there. It's not a very big deal probably in Texas, places like that. I think in most of the country, Memorial Day weekend
it is the symbolic opening of
yes,
summer.
And because of that, people have plans and
right.
things that they're doing. And I just think adding that please care about this instead of those things is not a good strategy.
Okay.
I think that's a failed strategy to do it that way.
I don't know that I totally disagree with you, but I think if you said to me you can either only move it Memorial Day weekend or you can't move it at all, I would move it.
I think obviously they would move it to Memorial Day weekend in that scenario. I would also add that, like, the one thing we talked about yesterday and I had a couple people that backed up is that they might think that Memorial Day weekend is a unique opportunity for tourism. That
sure.
It's a better.
I'll just go to Baltimore Friday and
right.
spend the whole weekend there and fly home Monday.
Exactly right. And it's better for the state.
There's no crime there. It's
Anyway, that's the argument that was presented to me, that they might look at it and say, again, because they don't care about those of us that have been going to the Preakness for years, that that's not what this event is to them anymore. That it's an event where they want, more wealthy people and they want more tourism dollars spent from outside, that they might look at Memorial Day weekend and just say, this presents a greater opportunity for us to get more people to come into town, and so that's why we want to choose Memorial Day weekend for when to do it.
I got to go, but I'll give you the tip about the Derby.
Oh?
I'll tell you who's going to win.
Who's going to win?
Whoever John Velasquez is riding.
There we go. Drew Forrester, drewsmorningdish.com is the website. Anything else that you've got?
Nope, we got to go roll the Dons here.
Okay, Loyola Calvert Hall, big one.
Okay. Thought you said roll Dons.
I thought they
for a
normally
second.
did that on Thanksgiving.
There's another sport.
It's another sport.
That they play.
But I could have sworn Loyola Calvert Hall was a Thanksgiving.
Oh, was this Thanksgiving? We won.
It's Drew Forrester. So.
Thanks for coming.
You said Spurs over Pistons,
Good
right?
to see you.
I think so. Yeah, put your 10 bucks on that.
27-1.
All right, there you go.
Put 25 on that.
There it is. We'll come back in. We'll talk more about the future of the Preakness. Bill Ordine wrote the cover story in this brand new print issue of PressBox, which is available today. You can always read it all at PressBoxOnline.com, but run out to your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. We'll talk to him about that and the future of the date. That's next. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website costasin.com for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
This is Byron Warnken. If you've been injured in Maryland, you know you need a great lawyer. Look no further than us, Warnken LLC. You've seen my picture on billboards around town. You've seen me on TV. Now I'm lucky enough to get to be here with Stan. Please give us a call. 443-RESULTS. It is not just a phone number, it's a mission. 443-RESULTS. Or visit us online at warnkenlaw.com. That's WARNKENLAW.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
Before we talk to Bill Ordine, why don't we go ahead and do Tidbit and Tubulars, because we're going to want to race out of here and watch the Orioles game today. So, sure, let's get a Tidbit. Tidbit brought to you by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. Stan, Ross, and Luke every Monday talking baseball with you. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. If you miss it live, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. Those are the ways for you to check it out. It's brought to you by Warnken Law and the Costas Inn with 2 great locations, one in Timonium, the new one, and the OG in Dundalk.
Good old-fashioned pitcher's duel last night at Dodger Stadium when Yoshinobu Yamamoto took on Nolan McLean. Both pitched got through 7 innings. Yamamoto into the 8th. But significant for Nolan McLean, he went 7 innings, 8 strikeouts, and he became just the 3rd pitcher to record 80 strikeouts and allow 20 or fewer runs through his first 12 appearances. 3rd pitcher ever.
Sandy Koufax.
Nope.
Nolan Ryan.
Focusing on ever, but all 3 of these guys have done it post-2000.
How many 80 strikeouts?
80 strikeouts, 20 runs or less through 12 career appearances.
12 career appearances. So that strikeout number is not overwhelming, so I don't need to worry about strikeout guys in general. Since 2000. Let's go with the Verlander.
Nope.
Cole.
Nope.
Kershaw. Scherzer. Strasburg. Boy. Since 2000. Does that still... CeCe?
No.
David Price.
No.
Chris Sale. Killing it.
Yeah, it's not these. It's not your
great.
None of these 3 guys. I mean, Nolan McLean. I mean, he could be a Hall of Famer, but none of these 3 guys are like definitive Hall of Famers.
This is a dynamite tidbit.
There's 3 guys that have ever done this.
Yes. So
all right, 2 years ago, 2024.
2 years ago was that's not Scooble. That's Crochet.
You were right.
Cease.
No, I thought you were saying somebody else that started with an S.
Somebody else that started with an S. Somebody that started with an S in 2024.
Debuted in 24.
Debuted in 2024 and starts with an S and is a pitcher.
He was the first overall pick in 2023.
Was the first overall pick in 2023. Oh, I know that, right? Was the first overall pick, and then he Skeens, right? Yes, of course, Skeens. Yes. Yeah.
And then the other, an Orioles legend. Which I say, obviously, tongue in cheek.
Right.
Yeah.
An Orioles legend. Felix Hernandez.
He did actually pitch in an
He
Orioles
did actually
uniform.
pitch in an Orioles uniform. I was
But
trying
you're
to
on the
work
right
around,
track, yeah.
But I'm on the right track. Charlie Morton.
No.
Kyle Gibson.
No.
Pitched in an Orioles uniform.
He was in attendance at last night's game in Dodger Stadium.
He was in attendance.
He played for one of the two teams.
I don't know who pitches for the Mets.
He was a Met, yes. He started with the Mets.
Started with the
And
Mets.
had an electric start to his career. Unbelievable. And then kind of fizzled out. And then ended up with the Orioles.
Matt Harvey.
There
you
go.
yeah.
Matt.
I was about to
80
go to Santana.
strikeouts,
I'm like,
20
Santana
runs.
didn't pitch for the Orioles.
80 strikeouts, 20 runs or less to their first 12 appearances.
All right,
McLean Skeens.
Hit the thing real quick, and then we'll talk to Bill Ordine. I'll just go over very quickly what's coming up tubular-wise. And then we'll talk to Bill Ordine about the new print issue.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, here's what's coming up totally tubular this evening, or this afternoon, of course. Diamondbacks Orioles on Masson, Eduardo Rodriguez, Kyle Bradish, the pitching matchup there with that bizarre lineup. Stevenson Lacrosse is at York tonight at 7 on MAC TV. The WLL draft after the PLL draft last night. The WLL draft, 7 o'clock on ESPNU. Playing continues tonight, as we mentioned. Magic Sixers at 7:30, Warriors Clippers at 10. Both games on Amazon Prime Video. And everything else find at GlennClarkRadio.com. Anything non-sports-wise that stands out?
Yeah, there's a lot today. The Scrubs finale.
Okay. Well, that was quick.
Yeah, it was quick. What's today? Wednesday? Maybe. Survivor, of course. Master Chef. Sorry, I thought.
Mrs. Clark is very excited.
The boys
about that.
Balls Up as well with Mark Wahlberg and Paul Walter Hauser.
What is that? Oh, that's the movie. Yeah, right. Oh boy, Griffin's gonna die again. We got that going for us. I don't know what's happening, but I'm very concerned about it. If you're in the medical field, could you please stop by the studio and check on Griffin, because I'm worried he's not going to be with us much longer. It is concerning, to say the least. And then all of a sudden, I sat in that chair earlier today to record something, and I didn't sound good. So I'm starting to think it just might be that side of the room. Maybe the problem is.
It's not my fault.
It's very weird. All right, everything else, find at GlennClarkRadio.com. There is a new print issue of PressBox available today. On the cover, the future of the Preakness. Joining us now, someone who's covered horse racing for a very long time. You know him from PressBox, lots of other places over the years. He's our friend Bill Ordine, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Bill, it's Glenn. It's good to chat with you. Thank you for taking the time for us.
My pleasure, Glenn.
Bill, a few things I want to get into related to the story, related to the Preakness. And I want to start with, I was just talking about this with Drew not long ago. My gut tells me that for all of the consternation about declining attendance in recent years, the folks that I have talked to were not nearly as concerned about it as the people that were obsessing over it. And the sense that I've had is that when there is a new Pimlico and when Preakness returns, there is not going to be a priority placed on there being 140,000 people at Preakness and 60,000 of the great unwashed in the infield. That event is likely to be more of an exclusive, top-tier type of event where they would prefer a different type of clientele. Am I off on my thought process there?
No, you are not entirely off. You're right on some of those points, particularly the days of the 140,000 attendance at a Preakness. Those days are gone probably forever. That's not going to happen. The facility won't be built to hold 140,000 people. As far as it being a more exclusive event, I don't see it becoming the Kentucky Derby. I don't see we're going to have A-list celebrities, coming into Baltimore to attend the Preakness. But it will be a more, I don't know if I should use the word sophisticated, but an audience that is going to be there to watch the races, to wager on the races, and not there for other reasons, and which is, to party and revel and that kind of thing. That we saw a lot of that, particularly in the before COVID. We all remember the running of the urinals kind of thing, right? We're not going to see that kind of stuff anymore. So you're right that it will be more of an upscale event. I think it'll still be a very admirable spectacle from a sports point of view, and it will do what it's supposed to do, which is to serve as the middle jewel of the Triple Crown.
Obviously, and I know that the timing not great, and the Jockey Club's not confirming anything anyway. But the center of a lot of the conversation about the future of the Preakness is when will the Preakness be moving forward? And I know there was a report this week from Sports Business Journal about moving it back 1 week. Bill, I don't like that thought because that puts it on Memorial Day weekend, and I just think that's a terrible time in our area to be holding an event of this significance. I just think a lot of people have plans and traditions related to Memorial Day weekend. Where are you? If it does appear as though they know it's changing. The rights holders are telling them it has to change because they have to have the Derby horse there. They're not going to spend the same amount of money for the risk of not having the Derby horse. If it's changing, what is the ideal way for this to look moving forward?
Boy, I'll tell you, if I could answer that question, I would charge them for the answer because it really is a problem in terms of timing. Those 2 weeks, between the Kentucky Derby and, currently the Preakness is really problematic for horsemen. Nobody wants to run a horse just 2 weeks after that cavalry charge they have down in Kentucky, right? And consequently, trainers have, are more likely to skip the Preakness because of it. Last year we saw, a horse running, in Kentucky and then skip Baltimore and then go in New York. And I think that concern, and not that I think, I know it concerns the people who are going to be running the Preakness, the New Maryland Jockey Club, and these are horse people who are running it, and they're going to be mindful of that. But I also hear what you're saying, which is to rearrange this calendar, so that it pushes it back to Memorial Day weekend is also problematic. I don't know what that answer is going to be, but I mean, doing this, the Preakness 2 weeks after the Derby, I don't know if this is sustainable. As we go along, more and more horsemen have really developed a real distaste for trying to run a colt or a filly, that quick. It doesn't happen anywhere else on the horse calendar.
And Bill, it bothers me because I do think that it impacts the lineage of the Triple Crown concept, and that there will be a watered-down nature to the first horse that wins a Triple Crown in a new calendar, and we will kind of all say that. But I just don't think they have a choice. To me, I keep coming back to, I think it was Randy Moss who suggested it to me, the idea that is it once a month? Is it first Saturday of May, first Saturday of June, first Saturday of July, and that's the best thing for all involved in the sport to create the calendar that way?
Yeah, well, I have to tell you, I kind of agree with that sort of calendar. To tell you the truth, the problem with horse racing is and has always been, and I had another horseman say this to me, who used to run the Maryland Jockey Club. The problem with horse racing is they have no Pete Rozelle. What that metaphor meant was there is no commissioner of horse racing, to say, okay, we're going to think together. The NFL has always been, quote unquote, accused of league think. But, it's given the NFL that kind of momentum.
Yeah, when they want to when they want to collude against the quarterbacks, Bill, it's very easy for them to collude against the quarterback.
Right, exactly. And horse racing just doesn't have that cohesion. But what you just suggested, what Randy Moss might be suggesting, to do this at regular intervals, the first Saturday of all those months, it makes a heck of a lot of sense. Now, whether or not you can get, the New York racing people to agree to rearrange the Belmont, that remains to be seen. But that's exactly what you need. You need somebody who brings the parties together and says, look, we all have to work together to make this work. But I think that sort of rearrangement of the calendar is what you need.
Bill Ordine, he wrote the cover story for the new print issue of PressBox, and we've linked the story up on our Twitter account at Glenn Clark Radio for you to check it out there. Bill, in the latter portion of the story, something that I'm still trying to wrap my head around is what does Pimlico become for the community? Because it's one of the things in this conversation, hey, we're going to invest all this money in a place where we're going to run one race. And then you say, well, there's going to be more racing dates. And, that sounds good, but, how much do you really get out of more racing dates? What will the new Pimlico be? Will it be truly an event center? And I know the stadium authority says sporting facility, and there had been suggestions that maybe, you could use it for lacrosse tournaments or something like that. What is the next phase of Pimlico going to be on every date that isn't Black-Eyed Susan or Preakness Day?
Well, I'll be blunt about it. That question that you just asked falls in a category with a lot of other questions regarding Pimlico. To be determined.
Yeah.
There is, I've asked, and I put it to and I think the people I was talking to were being as candid as they could possibly be. The guys at the Maryland Stadium Authority, and certainly the guy who's going to run the Maryland Jockey Club. But the Maryland Stadium Authority is going to have more influence, I believe, on how the facility is used. And I think they are still trying to figure it out. They really are. They are meeting with folks from the Park Heights community. Those people are engaged in the conversations, or at least I'm told they're engaged in the conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I, to tell you the truth, I think they still have to figure this out. Whether or not there is going to be some meeting space within the clubhouse of the new Pimlico. But I got to tell you, the new Pimlico, it's still on the drawing boards. And it is, the lines can be erased and redrawn, on the blueprints. So there will be meeting space in the clubhouse for that kind of thing, as far as how you can adjust or accommodate the infield for things like, you mentioned lacrosse or soccer or whatever other types of athletic events you might be able to place on that infield. We'll see. We'll see. They're still trying to figure this out, I think. And, it was only just very recently that they pivoted, which is, 21st century word for changing your mind. It's only just recently they changed their mind of not having the training facility up at Shamrock Farms, owned by the Rooney family, by the way, and move it all to Laurel. Where, now we're going to have that as the major training facility, as well as having to run races there for the next, 24 months or so. So, as I said, a lot of this has yet to be determined. I mean, these people with good intention, but, for people who want to know a hard and fast answer right now, they're going to be disappointed because those answers don't exist.
Are you confident that the 2027 Preakness is going to be at Pimlico, or do you still think that that's a to be determined as well?
No, I am as confident as I can be. I have like 80% confidence that the 2027 Preakness will be run on the track, and I am being specific. It will be run on the track at Pimlico. The seating will all be what they call overlay. Again, a fancy 21st century word for temporary. The seating will be temporary. It can be very nice seating. A lot of the seating will be in the infield. Some of it will be outside the rail if they can figure that out. The race itself, I am 80% confident, will be on the dirt track and the turf track at Pimlico. The seating arrangement, the spectator experience, will not be what the end result is supposed to be at the new Pimlico. Did I answer the question?
No, I think that actually answers it as about as well as it possibly can be, which is we might not know what the Preakness looks like moving forward until 2028. The 2027 might just be another year of kind of getting by just back at Pimlico.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, we will have a better idea of what the Preakness is going to look like for the balance of the what century are we in? 21st century? For the balance of the 21st century, when we get to 2028, that will give us a clearer picture of what the future of the Preakness is really going to be. And until then, it's a little blurry.
And Bill, what do we know? Because again, you referenced we just recently thought that that Laurel was going to host the Preakness and then it was going to be gone forever and redeveloped. What do we know now about what happens with Laurel after it hosts the Preakness this year?
No, that's an excellent question. What we know about it is this: the state owns that place now. They're still in negotiations, as I understand. They're still in final negotiations, for the state taking ownership of Laurel. And the state's paying a fair amount of money for Laurel. And they're going to pay even more money to turn Laurel into a first-rate training facility. And so Laurel will host 1,000 horses, along with all the human resources that you need to take care of 1,000 horses on a daily basis. And Laurel will, for the foreseeable future, starting in a couple of years, be running the majority of. I take that back. Laurel will have those 1,000 horses there be shipping horses from Laurel to Pimlico on a daily basis for the 120 or 130 race dates you've got over at Pimlico. And in 2027, when the Preakness returns to Pimlico, all the racing before and after the Preakness will still be at Laurel. But that's 2027 we're talking about. When you get beyond that to 2028, what you'll have is a national class, world class training facility at Laurel that has 1,000 horses and all the people and infrastructure that you need to take care of those 1,000 horses. So that's what we have. That's what we would have at Laurel, and the state's investment in that will be like I'm doing the arithmetic in my head real quick. About $130 million.
Wow.
In Laurel, that will be the investment in Laurel. Pimlico aside.
So obviously this is a major commitment. This is the state doubling down and saying we are committing to horse racing, still continuing to be a central part of what we do. Whether that's sports tourism, whatever you want to say it, for the horsemen themselves, they are clearly saying that there is no world where horse racing is not a significant part of what we do in Maryland moving forward.
No, that's correct. Considering, unless you want to write off a $500 million investment,
right.
Which I don't think anybody wants to do. I mean, right now, the state is in for like $530 million, give or take. Being a little facetious here, but no, seriously, a $530 million total. And I would not be surprised. No one has breathed a word of such a thing, so but I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere along the line somebody says, you know what, we might need a little bit more than $530 million. No one said that. No one has said that. But, if they stuck to that number, it would be a real feat.
Interesting stuff. You can, again, pick up the new print issue of PressBox at your Baltimore area highest dairy stores or anywhere around town where you find PressBox starting today. Read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. The future of the Preakness is the cover story from Bill Ordine. Bill, what else is going on in your world? I haven't caught up with you in a while. What else is happening?
Oh, well, I just did a story on Jesse Minter. That was, maybe about a month and a half ago. And I'm working on another story I hope to have done for PressBox soon on a young fellow who was a star baseball player at a local college, and rather than go on with a baseball career, he joined the Marine Corps and became a Marine Corps officer. He just finished his training in that, and so we're going to be writing about that young man.
Looking forward to that. That'll be great. Bill Ordine, always appreciate you, sir. Great to hear from you. Thank you for taking the time for us. Let's catch up again real soon, all right?
My great pleasure, Glenn. Take care.
Bill Ordine, and again, that cover story available now about the future of the Preakness. All right, we will wrap up because I want to watch the baseball game, and I know you do too. Thanks today to Bill Ordine. Thanks to Drew Forrester. We'll get it up in the greatest hits section of the...
There was something. It was a good duo. Bob Odenkirk and Paul Walter Hauser.
I would check out that tour for sure. Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com.
Oh, there's another show I did forget to mention on Apple TV called Margot's Got Money Troubles. And Elle Fanning plays the daughter of a former Hooters waitress, Michelle Pfeiffer, and an ex-pro wrestler, Nick Offerman.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got money troubles, I think.
I might. What's that on?
Apple.
Don't like that. Don't like that.
Did you just have it for the last? Didn't you just start your 3-month trial or whatever?
It's not a 3-month trial. That'd be an old 7-day trial.
Okay.
I don't know how quickly.
Oh, really? They got rid of the 3-month trial?
Yeah, 7 days.
Stupid.
7 days. All right. Thanks to tomorrow. Anything? We doing anything?
We're
tomorrow?
going to talk NFL draft with Daniel Kelly.
All right. Yeah. What's his? Remind me.
At first round mock.
First round mock. Of course, former Jet scout.
And he does not like Fernando Mendoza.
Right. We remember that from the last time we had him on. Did we ever share that?
No.
Probably should have gone fishing with that one. Probably should have gone fishing. Patrick will join us tomorrow. We'll talk about the week in college lacrosse, as we're already winding down for the regular season at this point. And stuff and things on the program tomorrow. Better week. Thanks to everybody at PressBox.
I agree.
All
Drew
of our
was here.
Yeah, great point.
I was here.
All of our... Were you? I'm not sure about
Not so
that.
much today, yeah.
Thanks to all of our great sponsors and partners. The Baltimore Orioles, Costa's Inn, Baltimore area High's Dairy Stores, Leading Edge Auto Body, Warnken Law, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Cruise Maryland, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, BuyAToyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Birds.
Happy Jackie Robinson Day.
Sure. Duke sucks.